We are finally approaching the end of the slavery, the servitude for the Jewish nation. In Egypt, the plagues that God inflicted on the nation of Egypt have reached their climax. Darkness and ultimately the death of the firstborn were the final plagues that struck the nation in this parsha. Imagine the terror that everybody felt as one affliction after another. The people were denied access to the life-giving aspects of nature. The things that they felt kept them alive and kept them going. One by one, the gods of Egypt were demythologized in front of Pharaoh and in front of all of his people, from the god of the Nile to the sun god Ra. Each one was successfully degraded to show that there is only one God in the world who alone has the power to control destiny and the world. For thousands of years, humankind has worshipped nature. They've exported the idea that nature needs to be appeased, prayed to, sacrificed to, and cultivated so that the gods of the sky, rain, and crops would be good to them. Imagine their disillusionment when they found that everything that they were taught was a lie. We live in a time when a plague confounds and constricts us. But this is not God's punishment, but instead our responsibility. The Torah is quite deliberate in setting out that the Lord put us in charge of his universe, gave us the ethics to guide civil society, and the tools to heal and to cure. Yet we have abused much of God's gifts. The virus is not our fault, but the cure of the virus is in our hands, and we have the responsibility to act with truth, diligence, and expediency to save lives. Perhaps this is why we read the segment each year, so that we will be reminded that there is a God who gave us ample tools, both mental and physical, to control our destiny. The ninth plague, that of darkness, was deliberate. Its purpose was to show when we wander away from our roots, when we let fear and ignorance guide us, we become blinded to the reality of existence, of real life, and what life is supposed to offer to us. We are in such a time of darkness now, and our responsibility toward one another is staring at us. Our task is to take the hands of our brothers and sisters and lead them to a place of peace and understanding, not leave them to be guided by fear and a sense of abandonment, wandering alone. We are the hands and feet of God. With the guidance he has given us, we can avoid the ultimate plague, the death of our firstborn, which in our own time is represented by our elderly, those who have underlying conditions, the impaired. That is why when we read the 12th chapter of this parsha, God deliberately tells us to mark our own calendars according to the day of liberation from slavery. God is telling us in God's unique fashion to take care of each other, to stop the abuse and the neglect. It is our time. Our time is now to take our rightful place as guardians of one another. Shabbat Shalom.